is the first time that this product has actually been seen by anyone. So we really hope that you guys enjoy it and get a lot of useful insights into this, but really excited to show you guys our SQEP solution. So you have myself, I'm the VP of Marketing here at SupplyPike. I help lead a lot of the webinars here. I'm going to be kind of taking y'all's questions throughout and pitching them to Parker to answer. And then we have Parker Johnson. He is kind of a new face on our webinars here. We've had him for a couple of them, but he is our associate product manager here at SupplyPike. He leads our OTIP product and now our SQEP solution. So really excited to have him here today to teach us all about SQEP and how SupplyPike can help you with SQEP, your SQEP issues. So perfect. If you guys are not familiar with SupplyPike, if you wouldn't mind going to the next. SupplyPike, so we are a software company. We're based in Northwest Arkansas. If this is the first time you've seen us, welcome. But we create cloud-based tools that help suppliers, retail suppliers, reduce the revenue loss that they're experiencing from their retailers. So we do that through prevention and recovery, a lot of root cause analysis, pitching that to you guys, as well as automating a lot of the difficult dispute processes that you might be experiencing with your retailers, such as Walmart, Amazon, Target, Kroger, all of those. We have over 400 suppliers that we represent, and we've actually impacted over $25 billion in almost every single product category. I don't know one product category that we haven't helped with. So these are a couple of our customers down here at the bottom. One thing that Stacy, another one of our common hosts, always likes to say is like, you know, we'd love to see your logo also on that list. So if you guys are interested after watching today's fast pitch, we would love to book a demo with you guys and yeah, get your name added to our slide deck. So perfect. I'll now hand it off to you, Parker. Can you talk to us about SQEP?
Yes, of course. So I think first we can kind of dive into what the problem is and why we're trying to tackle SQEP issues here. So as most of you probably know, it's a new compliance program that Walmart has kind of rolled out, but there hasn't been a lot of clarity and understanding of what it all meant, how to actually approach it, and a lot of there's different confusion with kind of dealing with it. So kind of what we know so far is there are kind of 63 different defect types when you get down to the sub defect level that they're kind of grading you on now. And also a ton of different ways that the fines for these kind of defects are calculated, and it can be a lot to keep up with. And the goal with this is that it'll be a fully automated process that Walmart kind of keeps track of at your DCs, just, you know, making sure that all kinds of stuff is cleared and ready as expected. So that could be anything from overages to proper ASNs, barcodes being the correct format and in the amount of quantity, all kinds of packaging, pallet quality, etc. All that kind of stuff really is compiled into this. I almost look at it as a way that they're covering everything else they didn't cover in OTIF. So OTIF focuses on being on time and in full. I mean, they kind of just threw SQEP in here to kind of cover the rest of the stuff. And they, you know, they have their 200+ page whole supplier guide for packaging and all this kind of stuff. And it's just a lot of information to kind of digest and understand how to actually approach and meet these standards for each of these defects. And so, like I've been saying, kind of an overall lack of consistency and clarity, which can be confusing for you guys when you don't have time to kind of dig into each of these, which is kind of where we started with trying to tackle it, is going that route. So if you guys are ready, we can kind of show you, you know, what we're thinking on our side over here, on what we're looking to build as a solution for SQEP, and how we can help you guys solve these problems that you may not know a ton about.
And while he's pulling that up, I just want to say that I will be taking questions throughout. So if you guys want to use, submit your questions, there's two little chat bubbles down at the bottom of your screen that say Q&A. If you want to hit that, type your question. I'll be looking at that and sending them over to Parker throughout. So check that out. Send us some questions. We'd love to hear it. And yeah, hand it off to you.
Awesome. Can you see this all right here?
Can.
Great. So, yep, this is our kind of concepts for our SQEP solution here. If you guys are familiar with our OTIF solution, it does look very similar, mostly because they are both compliance. We wanted to keep them as close as possible. While there are some edge case differences here and there, we'll have to adjust through the app. We did kind of model it based off of our OTIF application because it works well right now with kind of solving solutions, and thought we could do the same kind of ideas with SQEP here. And so, as you can see on the dashboard here, At the top, we've got some kind of high-level KPIs. So as some of you may know, you have a case is ordered for a certain time period. This could be a month or full year based on what your date filter looks like here. But all of the cases that are ordered are not actually being inspected right now. And eventually that is the goal, is that all cases are inspected. But for right now, everything that is ordered by Walmart is not currently being inspected. So we thought it'd be a good idea to kind of show at a high level how much of your cases are actually being inspected, so you can kind of project out how big the fines will look if you were having all your cases inspected. And so we also show the defects accounted for each of those cases inspected, as well as total defect charges. And then the concept of invalid charges being available too. We've talked with some suppliers and noticed that there does seem like there is some inaccuracies in the data they're using, as well as some of their process just not fully fine-tuned, and seems like there's some room to dispute those as well. So our app would definitely set out to kind of track all of this data and also look for invalid fines for you automatically. You can see in this chart here, just to kind of get an executive summary, high level overview. These are the kind of the main 4 categories they bucket in retailing SQEP application. So we would kind of show these on a month-by-month basis at the dollar amount on this chart, and then also to look at just the trends of how these cases are looking, the number of defects per case is inspected on a month-by-month basis as well here within this type of chart, to kind of get a better overview of your whole problem and see just some general trends of how your SQEP fines have progressed over time. For most suppliers, we've seen those increase as they've added more phases rolled out, and have had their quality inspectors kind of digging into these issues to learn more about what they see as fines or finable in these cases at the DCs. Now down here below, we kind of have more of a breakdown of all the information above. So within each of these kind of buckets that we've mentioned here, you would be able to look at like kind of sub defects here and see what percentage of those are causing these problems. They also kind of throw around this defects per million number, which they haven't exactly explained what that means or what the purpose is for it yet. I think it'll eventually be a way of kind of measuring your goals and what you actually end up getting fined for. If you meet a certain threshold of having less than a certain amount of defects per million, then you wouldn't get fined, but they haven't exactly stated what that's going to be yet. But we still kind of track that all here. And then you can see your total charges per each of these categories kind of broken down here, as well as invalid charges, and see all that kind of detailed, even at a high level here still, before we kind of dig into like the root causing of these kind of problems. Towards the bottom here, we got some additional charts that we thought might be helpful just to keep continuing to break down the data differently, especially charges by location and knowing the DCs that problems are arising the most. There's tons of different ways that we would like to break down the data for you guys to help you kind of root cause and look into these issues. Especially if you guys think you fix a problem across your whole company, but at some ship points or origins where these are coming from, it seems like they haven't been fixed. So kind of identifying certain areas where you guys think you may have fixed your barcode problems, but there might be one area of your process that still hasn't adjusted like you thought they would. So this kind of concludes the dashboard portion of this. Once again, more of a high level overview, but definitely worthwhile into kind of understanding the overall pain points of SQEP. Now we can kind of dig in more to the details of what the orders page would hope to accomplish. So this would include a lot of the data you see in the SQEP dashboard defects page, and would have all that kind of same data here with some different filters and ways to break that down, as well as a details page to kind of look into these further. And that's where the root causing can really begin, and looking into why you got this fine, why it occurs, and all that kind of good stuff. So if we click on, one of these POs here to look into this more in detail, we kind of get some high level overview, and really any data point possible. That includes shipment data that we pull from the OTIF side of things, ASN data from the ASN dashboard, and as well as all the detailed data from both SQEP and FixIt to try and combine these all together into a meaningful way that helps you guys kind of tackle issues. And so one thing that's also kind of tedious is they provide images, but in most cases, they don't allow you to rotate them at all. So that's kind of a pain point when you are tagged with a fine or an issue on a defect, and you don't know why you got it, and they send you photos that are black and white or upside down with no way to kind of zoom in and look at them better. So we would have to hope to have a kind of a better image carousel to look at that more in detail. and overall just kind of get a better sense of the issue with properly adjusted photos here as well. And that would be kind of a blend of both the photos from Fixit and from the SQEP dashboard. They have photos in both places, and sometimes they're inconsistent in the quality between the two of them. So having them all in one spot to look at all at once would definitely kind of help with looking into the issue there. But yeah, we would also just kind of provide really any other relevant data points that you guys may want to look at your transportation tickets for these shipment confirmations to see if you can track down which shipments may have had a problem that caused packaging to get damaged or pallets were bad quality for a certain shipment. And one thing I'm really looking forward to is with there being, 63 different defects, we would have our own content team working on detailed answers and reasonings behind all these defects. And that would be kind of linked in an area like here. With them, there being so many different issues to kind of keep track of, having a quick, short, detailed area specifically to that defect that you're seeing here would probably be very helpful in kind of digging into these issues and understanding why you're getting the fine and what the correct process is to kind of address those. They have that huge, 200-page packet we've talked about, but kind of having these individual detailed articles for each of these issues would kind of help focus you in on that issue for the moment to properly adjust for whatever you need. And then as you can see, just more detailed data as well as some line level data here as well. At the previous page is more of like a overall host PO level versus this would be more of like the detailed level where you can kind of play around with these different tabs here of what you were seeing related for each kind of PO. So now kind of back to the orders page overall though, just some different KPIs again, like we said, overall total fine amounts, total that were inspected for the current period selected here. It could be a month, could be, a full year you're looking at here, but just some different ways of breaking down the data. And then we are working on combining the Fixit actually into the orders page after some early feedback from some other suppliers. It seemed like it'd be best to have the whole Fixit process all in one spot, included with this other data. So there are definitely ways that we think we could help automate the Fixit process. And while there aren't a ton of incentives to actually go after Fixit tickets, it seems like Fixit might be the best place to kind of dispute phase 2 and phase 3 SQEP fines before they're actually charged. And so assigning those back to Walmart in bulk through our app would be part of kind of our hopefully goals here to help you guys kind of automate and make sure that issues that are related to the same issue can all be tagged under the same corrective action plans, which you may have seen in Retail Link. There's Fixit tab. Lastly, which we don't have in this design here, but we have different ways in our OTIF app currently of breaking down the data on these different kind of categories. And we think these would all be helpful too for SQEP. So pulling this data points in to kind of break down where problems may be arising. You could look at, specific carriers that consistently have problems with defects or other things like that. Back to the analysis page, you could look at certain items that maybe just aren't getting stacked right, or certain items don't have the correct barcodes or their labels are wrong. Kind of different ways to break that down here. Just getting your different item numbers in the list. And this is obviously OTIF here, but it would be like, these would be data points showed around your defects for each of these items instead of this OTIF information we got here. And then lastly, we too would want to dispute, which we don't have in that design mockup I was showing there, but similar to our OTIF app, we'd imagine you would just select all of our orders that we noticed that they're invalid fines for, and then you would hit dispute POs here. In this case, there was no fines, but it would look more like that if I was on a month that actually had fines. But we would identify invalid fines automatically here, similar to our OTIF app in our SQEP solution. Awesome. Well, I think that kind of concludes this kind of demo here, but I would love to show around other parts of this that people want to see again or answer some questions.
Yeah, we have a couple of questions, and I apologize if I didn't make this clear in the beginning. So we did have a question that said, this is just a concept of as of now. When do you expect that this might be roll out to be utilized? So this is the first kind of time that we've shown this to everyone. We are currently starting to work on development for this. So it's not everything that you're seeing here today is not fully in development, but we do have a timeline. If you wouldn't mind going back to the slide deck. Parker.
Yeah, of course.
And then one slide down. So if you want to kind of talk through the product roadmap when we think that we'll be able to release this.
Yeah, definitely. So we are about to start on development of this type of stuff, but looking into kind of original visibility, root cause, and that type of stuff sometime in Q2. Looks like we got that kind of marked as mid to late of Q2 right now. But definitely, any feedback from you guys and what you've seen today would be helpful for us to hear too as well on, what would be, worthwhile for you to see in a SQEP solution as far as the visibility goes. And then Q3, our goal is to kind of roll out disputing as well. So still some more work needs to be done to identify how we're going to actually show the invalid fines and kind of track all that down for the high radius disputes. But similar to OTIF fines, those are all disputed through high radius. So we already have that kind of connection built out. We just need to work on the actual data you guys need to submit for those type of disputes.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, I've gotten a couple of other questions. So if we already have access to Walmart's deduction navigator, do we get the SQEP dashboard automatically, or is there an upcharge? That is a great question. So this is going to be part of our OTIF radar solution. We're going to have to change the name, we think, because since it's not going to be doing both OTIF and SQEP. But if you guys are not on a legacy contract, so something that we've done for the past, couple of years, then you will get this automatically included. If you are on a legacy pricing, legacy contract, talk to your rep. They'll talk about, what the extra additional cost will be. But as long as you are on the pricing for 2022, 2023, then you will get this automatically included if you are on SupplyPike's OTIF radar app. This will just be rolled out to you guys whenever as functionality kind of comes through. Is there anything else that you would like to say on that, Parker?
No, that's a great point. Yeah, to your point on the OTIF and SQEP being combined, we're definitely still working on the naming of that, but it sounds like we'll be kind of under one full compliance umbrella. So it could be compliance radar, or we just call it compliance, but OTIF and SQEP kind of fit under the same realm. So we would definitely want to have both of those working together with a lot of the data they share. And yeah, exactly to your point. If you're on OTIF already at the current pricing, you would be able to get this. So
Get it included, which I'm sure a lot of people are excited about. And if you guys are not a current SupplyPike customer, we can definitely talk through pricing with you guys. Feel free to book a demo, or our emails are also going to be provided at the end of this presentation. Again, you can be one of the first people to get access to this, which I think is really exciting. So one question is this through SupplyPike and not Retailing SQEP page? Yes, so this would be part of SupplyPike's products. This is not part of Walmart's SQEP app. Do you want to talk a little bit more through that, Parker?
yeah, and while Walmart does have their own areas to dig into this stuff, that's where we're getting our data from, but we're also combining other data sources too, to kind of make it a more worthwhile experience for you guys to have, all the relevant data that you guys need to dig into these issues beyond what they kind of provide in Retailing. So it's kind of an accumulation of all those sources in one spot to make your data investigation process way easier and root causing more efficient.
Awesome. We have another question. So can we dispute fines in bulk through SupplyPike?
Yeah, it's a great question. So that's definitely part of our goals here. And you can see on the roadmap here, that's what we are planning on working on into Q3 here, and end of Q3 looks like the launch date for that. But definitely that would be part of our goal, is to be able to kind of bulk dispute all of these issues we see for certain months. Similar to OTIF, these are all invoiced and fined at a monthly basis. So how high radius works is they want you to submit disputes on a monthly basis, just one at a time. So we could do it. Definitely, we're working on, bulk disputing all these issues that we would see as invalid all at once into high radius.
And you can, just to reiterate, you can bulk dispute OTIF fines currently?
Yes, and currently with OTIF, we can bulk dispute all of our POs we identify as invalid. We currently have it broken out between the different metrics. So that's either the on time or in full. So we allow you to dispute either on time or in full, and then do the other one secondly. With SQEP, with there being so many defects, we definitely would work towards combining them all at once, because you don't want to do 63 different disputes if you had a problem with each defect. But that's kind of a rare case too. Most people have, somewhere from 10 to 20 defects on a monthly basis.
All right, with Walmart going all in with RFID by the end of, by February 1st, 2024, will we be tracking issues or defects of RFID as another measurable?
Yeah, that's a great question. I am not familiar if that's part of the whole SQEP package, and their current documentation on it, but I do know they plan to go fully automated, and if that RFID stuff is what helps them automate all of this process and scanning this stuff, then definitely will be a possibility for us to look into.
And I guess that's another great point of, we would love to hear what you guys are interested in to help direct the development of this product. So if there's something in here, I think in a couple of slides, we actually have a few questions that we'll ask you in the chat. If there's something that you're like, I am having such a big issue with this with SQEP, let us know, because we are in the first couple of stages of building this product. And, we are very fast, freaky fast at building things, but want to make sure that we are building along what you guys are needing. So another question that we have is just to clarify, if we are currently disputing OTIF on SupplyPike, the new SQEP coming in for SupplyPike is included in our package. Yes, as long as you are not on legacy pricing. So if you signed up for SupplyPike a few years ago, not within the past year and a half, and you have the same pricing that over the past few years, then you will just automatically get this included. If you are on legacy pricing, all you'll need to do is contact your representative, and that would be your account manager or your customer success manager, and let them know that you're interested in this. And then we can talk through kind of the next steps for that. Let me see. What percentage of fine claims can be collected?
I'm not sure I understand that, but if they're talking from a disputing standpoint, we've seen that fines kind of vary from supplier to supplier, but certain suppliers have seen more fines for SQEP than OTIF. And so we're pulling in all that SQEP data. So really anything that we find to be invalid with our research here will all be disputable at once. So it's hard to say right now the numbers that it'll look like, if that's what the question was. And sorry if you need to ask again, I didn't understand that fully, but it sounds like that was more on the dispute side, or just the data collection side. We would have the ability to pull in any data you need there as far as it's SQEP based.
Okay. Yeah, feel free to, if that didn't answer your question, please feel free to submit something else, and I can pitch it back to them. So one comment that we have is, this is a huge issue. You can't figure out what the actual problem with, like, barcode compliance and label compliance, in order to fix the problem. Will you be explaining what they mean by the different defects?
Yes, definitely. That's part of our goal here, is to kind of help be a thought leader for you guys, and kind of organize all of the necessary data points and information to quickly address these issues without you having to dig through and didn't do the research. We want to do the research for you and explain why something is happening and help provide solutions in a very easy manner. So kind of in that demo, we showed the details page where we'd have like a supplier wiki article linked explaining that issue. That's what we think would be the most helpful part of this visibility process and understanding the issues.
Yeah, that's very helpful. That Tom followed up and said, what percentage of charges can be recovered? That's a very common question that we get across the board.
Yeah, that's a great question and hard to answer right now. We know of some data we've looked at that there's kind of 5 main defects that are most common, and 2 of those being the phase 1 stuff of ASN not downloaded and overages, and those have been very disputable from what we've seen, as well as some of the barcode problems with some invalid fines being associated. Those are all through fix it if you wanted to dispute it ahead of time before going to high radius. But to talk about an overall percentage of SQEP fines, hard to be too precise there, but we have seen people have success with all of those, and those kind of main 5 defects make up about 80% of the fines. So if we were able to recover fully all of those fines, it'd be about 80% of your SQEP fines be recovered through our disputing.
That's very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Would you mind going to the answer these questions in the chat before I pitch you one last question and we wrap up. One more slide.
Yeah, so we've already talked about all this, but here's just a quick overview again. We say 4 sources here, but it really can be anywhere else too that might be relevant to pull in data from. Just kind of, spotting trends like we mentioned, all the defects, and, automating a lot of this process for you guys. But yeah, here's some questions we'd love for you guys to answer in the chat.
Yeah, so what features are you looking for? What data sources do you usually use whenever you're looking at SQEP issue? And then what would be the most helpful to erase pain points involved with SQEP? Please feel free to throw those in the chat. Love to hear your answers. Again, this would be really helpful as we're building out the product to make sure that it's built to, the solution is built to what you guys are needing. So one last question, which I think this is a funny one, so I'll try to also help answer this, but how long before Walmart decides that this is too much of a help to vendors and works to make it harder for you to provide this service? Any guesses, Parker?
That's a great question. Walmart is aware of us, and they know that we help suppliers, and they think what we do is great because, they do come up with these compliance programs in the interest of making stuff more efficient for their customers, but they know that we're here to help you guys and, save you guys money to keep you guys in business and in store. They're all about efficiency. And when we have tools like this to help with that, yeah, we're chipping away at some of the money that Walmart fines you for, but they know that we're helping help you guys improve to help their process be more efficient and get items to the customer.
Yeah, we've actually done quite a few joint educational events with Walmart because, a big focus of theirs, like especially around some of the newer initiatives that they're doing, like quick mods, item swap. We actually worked with Josh Tubbs, which was the head of that initiative, in order to provide more information, because at the end of the day, they're just wanting for things to be there on time, correct, the best service for consumers, and want to make sure that they're educating suppliers so that they can provide that. So hopefully they don't make it more difficult. Hopefully we can just make y'all's lives more easier. When this is launched, will all SQEP data be available to dispute?
So back to our kind of roadmap, and I can go back here real quick. Our initial launch is just going to be focused around visibility and understanding of kind of these issues. So not upon initial launch will it be disputing, but like I've been saying, Q3 is our goal, and any defect that we see as having invalid charges will be disputable. Now, we'll probably also have the option to dispute the full SQEP fine if you want to, but you guys would probably need some reasoning on your own side, whether it's extenuating circumstances or something else going on, to kind of provide some evidence for why you're disputing that. Otherwise, we're going to focus on what we see as disputable. So I can't promise everything will be disputable, but we'll focus on what we see as invalid, and anything invalid will be disputable though.
Perfect. All right. I think if you wouldn't mind going back to the question slide while I ask you one last one. Since this is not rolling out until Q2, Q3, how can we address these issues now?
Yeah, that's a really great question. I think, initially right now, just kind of looking into your data in the SQEP dashboard and Retail Link is a good place to start. Looking at the overall pain points you're having, common areas of where you're seeing fines deducted, and you're definitely welcome to reach out to us if we already have kind of done some research on specific issues you may be having. Some of that phase 1 stuff people have had success disputing, so we can kind of help get you set up there before we actually launch that, as well as just, explain why some problems exist, and what we know so far before we have all that content organized and ready.
And I am posting a link to a recording of a live event that we did with Ken Letter from GNC, where we talked about how you can actually go and dispute SQEP fines in Retail Link, best practices, all of that stuff. It is very manual. I know, I know having a tool like this would help automate and get a lot of root causes, but it is possible now to do with just the normal tools that Walmart provides to their suppliers. So I will post a link to that so that you guys can access that. But other than that, I know that we are over time. Is there anything else that you would like to say, Parker, before we wrap up?
Yeah, I guess I'll add to that last point too, is the Fix-It dashboard as well has the option to assign any of those issues back to Walmart to get more clarification as well. So as you're kind of digging around in retailing, there's something called Fix-It, and you can go into Fix-It and look at these tickets that have these defects for phase 2 and phase 3. So that's a lot of the barcode, packaging, case compliance, that stuff. You can actually assign it back to Walmart once you kind of click into one of those tickets and get some more clarification from them as well.
All right, perfect. If you wouldn't mind going to the last slide. One more. So sorry. All right, that is our contact information. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today. Hopefully this was a great overview of just a little sneak peek of what's coming down the pipeline with our SupplyPike products. If you are interested in this, please feel free to reach out to us. Those are our actual emails. Email us, or you can visit us online. You can actually schedule a time with our team just at that link, supplypike.com. Let us know if this is something that you're interested in. If you're a current customer, if you're not a current customer, we would love to get you guys early access to this product, get you guys using it, get your feedback so we can start collecting that and making something amazing. So thank you so much, Parker, for spending time with us here today. Really appreciate you showing us this product, and I hope everyone has a great rest of their day.